My name is Schwitters, and I've had the privilege of serving this organization as its executive director for 9 years. And I would like to just say thank you to a few folks. One is Bell Poles and the Bell family for the amazing contribution you've made to this organization and the commitment that you've made to our work. I'd like to thank Murnane and Brandt Law Firm and the crew too for continuing to sponsor this event. And I hardly ever get the chance to do this, but there's one more person that I do want to thank, and it's my best friend in life and my wife, and I just thank you for all your support, Jill. The mission of Urban Homeworks is to perpetuate the hope of Jesus Christ through innovative community development that produces quality, dignified housing for low-income families, a strategic network of good neighbors, and the redemptive development of real estate. And that might not sound very political, but it is, because we are about the perpetuation of hope. It's the hope that Stacy talked about. It's the kind of hope that you are going to hear when Dan and Sarah come up and talk. And it's about pressing the political platform of good news, of liberty, freedom, sight, and the Lord's favor. Urban Homeworks is not aligned, nor are we aligning with any political party or candidate. But I promise you this, that we will be working and praying for those in authority, that their hearts will be broken and their souls afflicted, so that they govern in such a way that we as a city and a state and a nation will experience sight out of our blindness, liberty for the captives, freedom for the oppressed, and jubilee justice. So let me pull a few lines from what I've heard referred to as the gospel, according to Bob Dylan. How many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? And how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? And how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? And how many times can a man turn his head, pretending he just doesn't see? This is the kind of hope that we aim to perpetuate at Urban Homeworks. A hope that opens our eyes, a hope that drives us into relationship and exchange, and a hope that is recognized and internalized to and by the poor. When my son was, Sammy was about 16 months old, one of his eyes started to wander. And so we took him to the doctor, and they gave him a prescription and said, look, you should probably take, 3 to 5 days, pencil those off, and just make sure these glasses stay on his face. And so we got our glasses and we went home. And it was really interesting to find out that Sammy really didn't need very much encouragement to keep those glasses on. Because once he put those glasses on, he started to coo and to talk about the little buttons on our shirts, and the milk in his bowl, and the little details on his toys that he'd never seen before. And a couple weeks later, we got our water bill. And it was about twice as much as it was the month before. Because Sammy also found a fascination with that flowing, sparkly water in the toilet. So this doodle, this thing that you see in front of us and that you've seen drawn on the screens, this little pictograph here is kind of like those glasses that Sammy received. And it provides for us a lens through which to view the detail and the nuance of the mission and the work of Urban Homeworks. So if you've met with us in the past, you've probably seen this doodle before. This doodle sometimes is affectionately referred to as our powerless point. And you've seen it on our business cards and on some of the invitations and some of the other materials. And it's used best when we can sit across the table and we can draw it on the back of a napkin, or we can just do it one-on-one. But I've been asked that I make sure that you don't leave here without understanding what it is that we do. And so I'm going to give you a quick verbal overview of this doodle. And it usually takes me about 25 minutes to do this. And I'm going to do it in 3. So buckle up. Here we go. We are a faith-driven community development organization that picks up boarded, distressed, condemned buildings in North Minneapolis and South Minneapolis and in the Frogtown neighborhood of St. Paul. And we fix these buildings up with around 2,000 volunteers per year. And we provide construction skills training to about 100 people through partnerships with Tree Trust, Goodwill Easter Seals, and Under Construction. Once these duplexes and buildings are finished, we lease them in a very unique mixed income, kind of a mixed class arrangement. And one unit is leased to a group of young professionals who choose to live in community and to live out what we call a ministry of presence. And in a few minutes, Sarah's going to stand up and she's going to talk a little bit about her experience as an urban neighbor. And there are currently about 63 urban neighbors in our buildings. The other units in the buildings are leased to low-income families that come to us through partnerships in the neighborhood that provide social services. The average income of a family renting one of our units is between $10,000 and $15,000 per year. Dan will be coming up in a few minutes to reflect on this a little bit more. As a natural next step from this rental housing, we began building and rehabilitating housing for home ownership. We work closely with the City Lakes Community Land Trust to provide housing to families between $28,000 and $68,000 per year. And one of the more innovative programs that we've launched is our response to this foreclosure challenge that we're experiencing, and it's called Project Reclaim. And it's a partnership between the City Lakes Community Land Trust, Lutheran Social Services, and Urban Homeworks in which we provide houses on a contract for deed that offers time and financial room for families to heal their credit, own their home, and be mortgageable in 2 to 4 years. What we do not aspire to be is huge housing developers. Our desire is community development. We happen to build and rehab houses for sale and for rent as a means to move toward community. Our strategy is to focus on 11 one-block areas that we call pods, and have at least 10 units of housing for low-income families, 10 spaces for urban neighbors to live out their ministry of presence, and take 10 homes out of foreclosure and reclaim them for families to live in our neighborhood. While we are working on these goals, we are engaging with other organizations and faith-based organizations and faith communities to overlay our work with their core competencies of healthcare, childcare, job readiness, education, transportation, and quality food, so that what emerges is a viable, livable, robust community. So what could this look like when it's done? And I am blessed to have my mom drove up from Wilmer today to join us. And 7 years ago, Mom went into surgery and had a tumor the size of a lemon removed from her brain. And what happened when she went home, I think, is an impressive and remarkable reflection of a community of people. People started to come to her house to visit, and they brought her food. And she didn't cook a meal for over 3 months. It's our hope that we can get to a place that when Alice gets sick, or Jill has a baby, that they will be visited and showered with baby gifts, food, and friendship, and that they and their family will never have to question and never have to wonder if the hope of Jesus Christ is alive and well. So this little thing that we do, this Doodle, is just a tool, just like the housing is a tool to move us toward community and towards right relationships. And where this has difficulty is in a setting like this. And where it shines is when we can sit across the table and we can scratch it out on the back of a napkin or on a piece of sheetrock. And so if you'd like to know more about what we're doing, give us a call, let me know. I'd love to sit down with you and have a cup of coffee and doodle it up. But I just want to thank you for coming. We are truly humbled and encouraged by you guys taking the time to come out and support this work. And I just pray we can come together from all walks of life, share ourselves and our resources, so that together our hope for this city may be realized. Thank you.